Hello and welcome to Parliament Weekly, your home for the biggest, juicy and most important news out of the Nigerian Parliament every week. I am Sharon Ebresumi. The Senate has warned that the country may experience an acute food crisis if the current alarming insecurity situation is not immediately checked. It also called for increased military presence in Niger State. The warning was issued on Tuesday following the adoption of a motion on the urgent need for the federal government to deploy troops and other security apparatus to immediately bring an end to the menace of insurgency and terrorism in Niger State and other parts of Nigeria. In his lead debate, the sponsor of the motion, Senator Sani Musa, representing Niger East, bemoaned the worsening insecurity in the country despite its efforts to address it. According to the lawmaker, the Senate has passed resolutions, constituted an ad hoc committee on security, organized national security summits, appropriated funds, and supported every effort at addressing the persistent insecurity in our nation. Mind you, Senator Sani Musa has raised these issues several times on the floor of the Senate. What is actually going on? See, we can't even emphasize this issue of insecurity enough because this is becoming really alarming. May God come to the aid of Nigerians.
The Senate has passed several resolutions, set up ad hoc committee on security, held national security summits, and declared every effort, every support at bringing an end to the persistent insecurity in our nation. We have appropriated budget and also advances numerous steps to support our nation's security agencies, yet insecurity has continued to elude the nation. Further note that negative effects of atrocities committed by these heartless monsters in the period under review include, among others, total collapse of local economies of the affected victims, total collapse of educational system in the affected areas, famine due to collapse of agricultural activities, displacement, social vices such as drug abuse and thuggery emanating from struggle for survival, trauma arising from serial rapes, and inhuman, cruel, and deadly subjugations.
Moving on, the House of Representatives have charged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to reduce the size of his cabinet. It also encouraged the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Yemi Cardoso, to take the necessary steps to stabilize the naira against foreign currencies. The call by the House came shortly after the president's recent appointment. Now, if you recall, President Tinubu on Tuesday announced the appointment of 5 aides to work under his media directorate, including Fela Durotoye, who was presidential candidate of the Alliance for New Nigerian Party during the 2019 general election. He also forwarded another list of 3 ministerial nominations to the Senate for approval, increasing the total number of his ministers to a record-breaking 48. Our president will soon join Guinness Book of Records. Abi, in they gather disciples. Even with this current economy and difficulty for the average Nigerians to survive, cabinet members still they increase. And later he will now say,
let be poor, breathe. Don't suffocate them.
Before I go on to the other stories, please take a moment to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so. You can also turn on notifications so you don't get to miss out on the latest happenings in the Nigerian National Assembly. Don't forget to also like this video, drop your comments and share. The Senate has expressed worry over the incessant acts of crude oil theft in the Niger Delta region and its effect on the nation's economy. It also called for a holistic investigation into sophisticated methods employed by crude oil thieves in their operations. The call was contained in a motion on the urgent need to investigate the incessant and nefarious acts of crude oil theft in the Niger Delta and the actors, sponsored by Senator Ned Nwoko, representing Delta North, and co-sponsored by Senator Ide Dafinone, representing Delta Central, and Senator Joel Onowakpa, representing Delta South, on Tuesday during plenary.
Mr. President, the motion is for urgent need to investigate the incessant and nefarious acts of crude oil thefts in the Niger Delta and the actors. The Senate instructs Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to engage host communities, local governments and state officials, IOCs, security agencies in collaborative efforts with private securities in the protection of oil pipeline infrastructure rather than being handled by a few elites in the region.
Before I even go on, this matter of oil theft has been lingering for how many years now? Even the 9th Senate has raised several motions to investigate this oil theft. And now, the 10th Senate. Meanwhile, a few months back, a former Niger Delta militant leader, Asari Dokubo, accused the military high command of being involved in oil bunkering in the Niger Delta region. He even said that the ordinary citizens, just like me now, cannot gather that kind of audacity, talk more of resources or even technology to start connecting types directly to oil heads to tap crude. Yusuf, check him now.
The military is at the center of oil theft. And we have to make this, the army and the navy intimidate the civil defense, who are by status the people who are supposed to guard these pipelines. They receive a lot of money from NNPC, PCL, and the IOCs, and just across the corner, you will see a houseboat. A few meters from the houseboat, you will see an oil bunkering refinery or tapping directly from oil wellheads.
On this note, we express our heartfelt condolences to the family of a member of the House of Representatives, Rep. Abdulkadri Jelani Dambuga, who died in the early hours of Wednesday in Abuja after a brief illness. Dambuga, who represented Issa Sabon Federal Constituency of Sokoto State, was said to have been admitted in the hospital on Tuesday. He was buried in accordance with the Islamic rites. May the soul of the lawmaker rest in peace. And finally, we would also use this opportunity to congratulate Linda Akibe, who was appointed Senior Special Assistant on Strategic Communications to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Communications Advisor to the President of the ECOWAS Commission. Prior to her appointment, Linda was Channels Television Senate correspondent and presenter of the legislative program, The Gavel. Once again, congratulations, ma'am. It's a wrap on this week's episode of Parliament Weekly. Do well to visit our website at orderpaper.ng for all parliamentary related stories and lots more. You can also follow us on our social media handles showing on your screen right now. See you next week. Bye.